I'm going to show you a trading system that is very simple and easy to understand, yet surprisingly profitable. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Jonatan Randin. I'm the founder and CEO of RLZ Trading, the place where we help you simplify your path to greatness. In this video, I'm going to show you a system where we are combining multi-timeframe analysis with the break and retest concept. It's a very simple approach, but the results are quite impressive. I'm going to break it down in detail for you. I'll show you all the indicators and tools I'm using, and I'm also going to show you real trade setup examples. Okay, so for this example, we are going to be looking at Euro AUD and GBP AUD. So obviously these are two Forex pairs, but as you know, we also trade crypto in this channel. And this system works very well in the crypto market as well. Actually, it works in pretty much all markets out there. If you have a trend or if you have horizontal levels and prices are respecting these horizontal levels, then absolutely this system will work great. So let's begin by looking at Euro AUD here. And we're going to be looking at this from, first we're going to be using the top-down analysis, which means we begin by looking at the higher time frames and then we slowly go down into the lower time frames. And the idea is to find high time frame levels that price respects. And when price hits these high time frame levels, that's when we go into lower time frames to try to find an entry. The only tool that I'm really going to be using in this example is just adding horizontal levels. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you also know that I like to use the 20 and 50 exponential moving average, the stochastic RSI, and the Fibonacci retracement tool. Now you can add this in your own way to make this applicable to your own trading style. But what we're going to be focused on here is just pure price action with horizontal levels. The way I do this is I usually scan the markets on the higher time frames during the weekends. So I mark out the daily levels during the weekends, and then I try to trade the actual plans and the trade setups throughout the week. So let's say it's Sunday evening and before the markets open, and I see a daily level here. All right, that's quite a good looking level. You can see maybe it's even on the weekly. Yeah, it's pretty decent level here on the weekly as well. And why not just use these lows and those lows to kind of create a level here. This is most definitely a high time frame level. It's visible on the weekly, looks decent on the daily as well. You got these candle closures and the strong bounce here with violet moves. It's a very decent level here. So we now have a level here on the daily on Euro AUD. We know that this is a level where we want to be trading. So one way of trading this could be, for example, to let's assume that you're trading this when you have that move right there. So this is the close on Friday, or so this candle obviously closing right here on Friday, and you could have this as an idea, right? You want to trade this as a break and retest. Let me quickly explain what a break and retest is, right? It's just basically like this. You have a horizontal level here, could be resistance, could be support, doesn't really matter. Price comes up, hits that horizontal level, and then breaks above. That's the break and that's the retest. That's really all you need to know here, all right? I'm not going to go into great detail on the exact details of what is the best break and what is the best retest. I'm going to do another video on that, so keep your eyes on the channel for that. But in this video, let's just do an overall breakdown of the system. But you can now see that you have a level here. The level has been broken. You have a retest right here. So one idea would be to perhaps trade it down here. That's the first idea that comes to mind. Okay, so now let's say we are trading. It's let's see the markets open on Monday, right? And we have that overall idea. Now what I want to do is I want to go into the 4 hour. And what do we get on the 4 hour? We get a very nice trend here on the 4 hour with basically you got the highs, you got the lows, you got lower highs here, you got a lower low, and then a lower high. And this is usually where I would add the fib tool as well, from that high down to that low. And you'll see that these wicks of those candles here on, so that's, it says Sunday, but that's, the opening candle hits that 0.618, beautiful right here. And it forms a 4-hour bearish engulfing candle. Now, what this tells me is that this whole idea that we looked at, or that I looked at during the weekend, is pretty much confirmed. Price breaks down, you got the break right here, and then you have the retest. So we have a daily level that's being respected with a break and retest on the 4 hour. We now know that our general idea is to move down to this level, but there's also this thing called the FTA, or the first trouble area. And basically what this is, you have to ask yourself, where is price most likely to run into trouble first? So if you're shorting this, where is the closest support? I would argue that the closest support where we can expect price to run into entry or run into trouble would be this level right here, which is, when you go in short, it's usually the last local low, that one right there. So we're going to type in here, we're going to say FTA, possible target, or TP. Okay, of course the text is white because usually I don't have a white background, so that's better. Okay, FTA, possible TP, exclamation mark. So this is the 4 hour. We now have a general idea that we want to, we think price moves lower. We have, you know, everything kind of indicates that it's moving lower, or, you know, the edge of the system is definitely to the downside. If you're enjoying the free content that we have here on the channel, make sure you sign up to Prime XPT by using the link in the description below. It's a good way of supporting this work that I'm doing. And you know what, if you do use the link in the description below to sign up to Prime XPT and then join the free trading community, the RLZ trading room, you will get free access to the RLZ slingshot indicator, where you'll get automated trade signals, and you also get that inside the community. So make sure you join the community, sign up to Prime XPT, and you will get further instructions within the community. We now had that confirmation on the 4 hour. It looks like price wants to move lower. Now let's make our way into the lower time frames to see if we can find a low time frame entry for this trade right here. And we're going to be using the FTA as our target. Now the win rate of this system is about 40%. Okay, so it depends on, like, obviously your mental edge, it depends on the way you're trading, but I would say that win rate, depending on your execution, could be as high as 50 or even 60%. But for most people, when starting out, it would probably be closer to 30%, which means you would need to have at least 2R for your setup. So if the setups that you're taking are not 2R, don't take the trade, right? So let's see if that works on this one. So now we go down into the 1 hour, and what I see here is a horizontal level. Okay, so we do have a horizontal level somewhere around this level. Okay, so I don't want to enter this trade right now because it doesn't really feel confirmed, right? We want to see a break and retest of this level. So remember, we have the break and retest of that daily level, but now I want to get into the into the high risk to reward trades on the lower time frame, so we can have a tighter stop loss. If I would have to enter, you know, in this position somewhere around here, I would have stop loss all the way up here, and the risk to reward of this trade would only be 1R, because usually I want my stop loss to be above the last swing point, basically. So we are going to move forward here a bit, see how price reacts to this level. Now it reacts nicely to this level, and here's the break lower. So we go into the 15-minute time frame right here, and what I see here is a very clear rejection right here, or a break lower on the 15-minute, and we're going to be looking at this level right here. Okay, so let's use the replay tool again to go back. Now we can kind of make this zone a little bit smaller, put it in perhaps something like this. That's the level where we want to get in on the break and retest. And if we are able to get in around this area, that would be perfect. We could then have the TP down here, and the stop loss could be, we have the stop loss above this high right here. It kind of makes sense to see a break, a retest, and then a move down to that FTA area, and the this trade setup would be 2.61 or 2.5, which is definitely acceptable. So let's see if we can get that break to the downside and a retest of that level. That's now, I would say, confirmed break. Okay, so we have a confirmed break to the downside. I'm going to be switching to the 15-minute because this level is very visible on the 15-minute as well. Let's see if we can, that's a clear break to the downside. And I would probably, when looking at this, and I think this is the way I entered the trade as well. This trade was posted in the RLZ trading community. So I think that is the move lower, right? You see on the 5-minute, we got that break. It kind of confirms. I put limit orders around this area, I believe. And then we saw price move lower down into that FTA level, just like that. And that is then when price later started to reverse like this. So this is a really good example of how we're using multi-time frame analysis, and we're only adding horizontal levels, and we're looking for a low time frame break and retest. Because remember, when you have that high time frame bias, you see a break and retest, or a level being hit, or a level being lost on the daily, and then you have that break and retest on the 4 hour. You know that most likely, looking at the the idea of trends in the market, most likely this trend will continue lower, and the level where you're going to get reaction is most likely going to be around the FTA area. And as long as your trade is above 2R, you will be profitable with even as low as having a 30% win rate. So what you see right here is we combined the daily, looked at a high time frame level, went into the 4 hour to find that rejection and a rounded retest and a bearish engulfing candle. I then went into the daily, and I saw that, look at that level, a very clear level on the 1 hour, very clear level on the 1 hour. Went into the 15-minute, waited for a break of that level to the downside, and you can see clearly that this is the move to the downside, right? And if I would add fibs on this, I would add it from that high to that low, and guess where what level price hit? It hit the 0.618. So if you want even higher risk to reward, you can put limit sell orders on the 0.618 and then place the stop loss right above the RLZ. That's going to be like a 7R trade. Now, I think the win rate of a system like this, where you have very tight stop loss, would be closer to like 20% or even lower. So you have a very few winners, but of course, when the risk to reward is this high, you will be profitable. But this is just a good breakdown of using multi-time frame analysis, horizontal levels, and then applying the break of structure and the break and retest strategy. Let's break down GBP AUD here to see if we can find a similar setup as we found on Euro AUD. Well, I know we have one because I posted one in the community. Both the Euro AUD and GBP AUD trades were taken yesterday, and I broke them down in the live trading room as well. If you're not familiar with the Fibers, I work for the Fibers as well. It's a funding firm, a prop firm, and I'm also the host of their live trading show, the live trading room. So make sure you check that one out as well. I'll put a link in the description to that as well. Anyway, the daily, it's at a level. That's a pretty good level, right? We can even do something like this, right? That's a pretty big level. I would say that this is it's probably also visible on the weekly, so very similar to Euro AUD. So what do we have here on the daily? I'm doing my weekend analysis, and I'm thinking, all right, so we might get a bounce. I would long if we get a bounce, or we get a break and retest, and I would short if we get a break and retest. Obviously, what happened was we broke down, go to 4 hour. What happened here? We have a hit of that level. You can see here the low of that zone, hit of that level. What do we have? A 4 hour bearish engulfing candle right here on the 4 hour. Definitely looks like it wants to move lower. Where's the 8? The FTA is right here. Let's put in a text. FTA possible TP. Again, it's very similar to Euro AUD, right? Go down to the 1 hour. What do we have here on the 1 hour? We have a horizontal level. Let's add a level. Let's add it, probably something like this. That makes sense, right? Let's go down to the 15-minute. Be extending this to the right and to the left. So now we have a level on the 1 hour. And look at that. A beautiful 1 hour candle close here on the 1 hour. So we now have a break to the downside. The idea would be to short the retest of that breakdown. TP is going to be the FTA right here. And the FTA is based on the candle closes on the 4 hour right here. So I just put it right here. Can I maybe even put it lower? Well, you know what? Let's not be greedy. Let's put it right there. So we got the level on the 1 hour. We have a confirmed breakdown on the 1 hour. Then looking at the 15-minute. Look at that. We could also be looking at that breakdown on the 15-minute, and we would have a hit of entry right there. But let's just assume that, okay, you missed the entry on the 5-minute, and you're instead waiting for the 1 hour candle to confirm, which is definitely a viable strategy as well. So where would we be putting the stop loss on this one? Probably above these highs. You see it's 2.19. Pretty sure we could have gotten in on a much tighter stop loss, but let's see, will we get filled on this one? Let's see on the 15-minute. That's the push to the upside. So we got 2.19R on this one. We should be failed on that one, and then price starts to slowly but surely make its way down to TP, and it comes even lower down to all the way down to these lows, you know. So if you want to be, you know, a little bit risky, if you want to be basing the TP on the very, very low of that FTA, this would actually have been a 3R trade. So very good, that one right there. So this is the exact same thing. Now, as you can see here, I've based this horizontal level on this type of price action. Yes, on the 1 hour, I incorporated this. It makes perfect sense on the 1 hour, but then you go to the 15 minute and you see that, you know what, why didn't I incorporate these lows? Well, because the price action to the right side of the chart is always more important. You can see even on the 5 minute that it's been respected very nicely here. So I'm going to narrow the zone based on the most recent price action. Right, so that's 2 setups broken down for you guys, explaining the idea of using multi-time frame analysis with the break and retest theory or concept, and also applying the idea of a break of structure, because basically that's what it is. A break and retest is also a sort of break and structure. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one.